Hey everybody, it's Blue Blade Studios, and welcome to episode 12 of Blue Blade's Christmas Cinema. For today's episode, we're once again going to be talking about cartoons with Christmas episodes. With that being said, let's get to it. So for today's episode, we're really going to talk about 4 adult cartoons, and I think we should start with one of the most famous ones of all time, and that is The Simpsons. So I was thinking, what episode of The Simpsons did I want to talk about? And I was going through them all thinking, maybe that one. But then I decided to do the very first one. And funny enough, the very first Christmas episode is also the very first episode of The Simpsons. The Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire premiered on December 17th, 1989, and was the first time audiences got a glimpse of the Simpson family. It follows the Simpsons getting ready for the Christmas holiday. Bart ends up getting this tattoo, and the family has to spend their Christmas money to get it removed. They're not too worried about it though, because they believe Homer will get a big bonus from his company. But, unfortunately, Homer doesn't get that bonus. And the rest of the episode follows Homer, and eventually Bart as well, trying to get some money for the family for Christmas. In the end, however, they go to a dog racing event and bet on a little dog called Santa's Little Helper. The dog loses and is dead last, and his owner kicks him out because he's a loser. But, in the end, he finds the Simpsons, and then he becomes part of the family, and he's the Christmas gift. So, things worked out for them in the end. This isn't just the first Christmas special for the Simpsons, but it's also the first ever episode they ever did. And you can tell it's the very first episode. Some things are a little different, like Mr. Burns having a different voice, and some people just not sounding the same as they do in later seasons. The animation is very interesting. The Simpsons was originally done through cell animation, which is something I quite like. It just kind of has this very liminal feel to it, and a very nostalgic feel as well. The characters are pretty good. If you like The Simpsons, you'll definitely like them in this. I'm personally not the biggest fan of The Simpsons. I still like it, but it's really neat seeing the very first episode. And it's also nice that it's a Christmas special, too. The next show we're going to look at, Family Guy. Between The Simpsons and Family Guy, I personally like Family Guy more. I just really find it funny, and I think it's personally better, but that's my opinion, of course. So, like every one of these things, there's several episodes that I could look at, but I want to look at one that I remember watching quite a bit a couple of years ago, and that is called Road to the North Pole. Stewie gets really upset at this one mall Santa, and after that incident, he decides that he's going to go to the North Pole and kill Santa. He and Brian drive up to the North Pole and eventually make it there, only to find out that Santa is not in the best of shape. They form some sort of pity for him and eventually decide to take his place and deliver all the presents to everyone around the world. It goes as well as you'd think it would, with Stewie and Brian being Santa.
Damn it, we tripped the alarm. Brian, the cops are coming, let's go! What? We're just leaving like this? What about not wanting to ruin Christmas?
I personally love Seth MacFarlane's humor. I think he's a very talented guy, and honestly, most stuff in Family Guy makes me laugh. I like Stewie and Brian, and I'm glad they're the center of this episode rather than, say, Peter. I like Peter, but it's really neat to see someone other than him be the star of a Christmas special. Also, I like this scene involving this Canadian.
Who? Triple A, you know? AAA. Oh, AAA? Hey, I just came from AA. No, not AA, AAA. Yeah, that's what I said, AAA. Oh, so you are with AAA? Oh, no, that's AAA. I just came from AA. Huh? Stewie, I think he's just a drunk.
Family Guy also released a brand new holiday special this year in 2025, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really give an opinion. But it's a parody of all the Hallmark movies, and that to me just seems like a really funny idea. Also, while I don't remember the name of the specific Family Guy episode, I do like that episode that had that song sequence of All I Really Want for Christmas. It's a fun episode to watch, and if you like Family Guy, you'll like this episode. And speaking of Seth MacFarlane shows, let's move on to the next one, American Dad.
Good morning, USA. I got a feeling that it's gonna be a wonderful day.
Now, I'm not the biggest fan of American Dad. I just think it's a little too similar to Family Guy. I still think it's kind of funny, but it's just not one I'd watch as much as Family Guy. The Christmas episode that I'll be discussing is Rapture's Delight. The rapture happens, and Stan is left behind. He's absolutely pissed about this, and in some ways kind of blames his wife for it. 7 years go by, and Armageddon has happened, and eventually Stan teams up with Jesus to go save his wife, and it's a very, very strange journey from there. I don't have too much to say about this one, mainly because it is very similar to Family Guy in my opinion. The characters are pretty funny. I especially like Roger the alien.
The homeless guy from the bus station is hung. But I knew that.
If you like Seth MacFarlane stuff like me, then you'll like this humor and you'll like American Dad. Now, I do have a lot to say about the final show that we'll be looking at for this episode, and that's South Park.
I'm going down to South Park, gonna have myself a time.
South Park is one of my favorite adult shows of all time. It's hilarious, animation's terrible, but in a really good way. It's just great, and the characters are awesome. So I was thinking of what South Park episode I want to talk about. I was thinking maybe I could do a Mr. Hanky episode, or any of the other ones involving the woodland critters, just any of them. But I then remembered the one episode that I absolutely love. It's Christmas in Canada. So in this Christmas episode of South Park, Ike's parents from Canada come to Colorado to take Ike back home after the Prime Minister of Canada implements these new laws. The American courts can't do anything about it, and Ike's parents take him back to Canada. Kyle is very upset about this, so he gets Stan, Cartman, and Kenny to come with him to Canada so they can rescue him. Along the way, they encounter several other peoples like a Mountie, a mime, and a fisherman. This episode is largely a parody of The Wizard of Oz, with stuff like following the only road in Canada to each one of the guys they meet basically being a parody of the people that Dorothy meets in The Wizard of Oz. There's tons of funny lines in this, like Garrison at the beginning.
How about we get rid of all the Mexicans?
And of course, Cartman is absolutely hilarious in this, especially when he says he's going to beat up Kyle.
That's right. You and me, right now. We're having it out. Let's go. Come on. Come on.
I'd have to say that my absolute favorite thing about this episode is the Canadians. I'm Canadian, and I absolutely love the way Canadians are portrayed in South Park. And yeah, that was episode 12 of Blue Blade's Christmas Cinema. Hope you enjoyed it. We talked about Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, and South Park. Just a very consistent group of shows. Next episode's going back to the movies. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more of them, just go on and head over to my channel, and you can check all the rest out. That being said, it's Blue Blade Studios signing off. And you know what, since Oogie Boogie was going to run the show last time, I'm going to let Homer Simpson run it. Alright, Homer. There you go.